Hear me?
I thought we were done with goats.
Yeah, I was going to just say that.
Would you like me to repeat that again, sir?
The next hunt is
Bad idea.
Restricted non-resident mule deer hunt, antlered any legal weapon hunt 1235.
Unsupported by D.
Changes in season dates to reflect changes consistent, keep it consistent with 1331. For example, the season dates on 051 are consistent with removal of the early-late split, addition of the units in Mineral and Esmeralda counties, addition of 254 to remain consistent across units, including all units within an area.
Any questions, Tony? How about the cabs? You guys ready? Corey?
For the record, Corey Lytle, Lincoln Cab. Yeah, we're once again trying to get some increased success in 221, 222, 223. And this would go for the non-resident restricted too. We talked about taking the early-late split and actually breaking it into 3 hunts. We realize the late hunt's a really highly sought-after hunt, trophy hunt, and what we're trying to do is split that early hunt pressure up, break it up. It's gonna help the youth side of it. It's gonna help the cow elk side of it. It's gonna help other things. We hope is the intended result. One thing I'd like to do, though, we voted for the early hunt to be October 1 to 20, October 21 to November 1, and the late to be November 2 to 6. And between the time our cab met, I had some informal discussions with some of the other guys, a couple of the other cab members, Mr. Wasley, and I would be really open to adjusting those dates within that. I really would like to give those guys on the late hunt at least 7 days. Some of those guys on that late hunt waited 6, 7, 8, 10 years to draw that tag. If we can squeeze 7-day hunt on that, and then maybe move the early hunt to say October 1 to maybe October 16th, that would mirror actually that early cow hunt, and then the middle hunt to be October 17th to October 30th, and then run the late hunt October 31 to November 6th. That's my recommendation.
Mr. Dixon?
For the record, Paul Dixon, Clark County Cab. We talked a lot about this, and the recommendation from our cab is that looking at what Corey and Lincoln had talked about is take the late season hunt and start it 5 days later, give a rest period between the early hunt and the late hunt, but extend the late hunt till November 10th rather than November 5th. So that was our recommendation, which is give that late hunt, make it more of a trophy hunt, and give a rest period out of the field for the animals before you go into that trophy hunt, that late hunt, by having a rest period. And that's why we didn't go for the 3-season suggestion that Lincoln had. Thank you.
Unit? Which unit? Let's be clear.
21.
All units.
All units.
All
okay.
units. Where we have a late and an early late season split.
Copy.
Any other questions?
Joe? You'll be next, Ray.
Joe Grimm, Persian Cab. We had voted for that, the 041, 042 season. It's recommended to go from October the 5th through October the 20th, but we'd like to take that out from the 5th to the 31st to mirror some of those other seasons, because that's a tough side to hunt.
Ray?
For the record, Ray Sawyer, White Pine County Cab. We had some informal discussion on the Lincoln County 3-season split. We would agree with proposing that those units 221 through 223 into those areas. Our concern, I guess my personal concern would be if we start putting that late hunt later in, then you're hunting into the elk hunters. you know, if we're moving that towards the 10th of November or something. So, just a suggestion.
Okay. Any other? Come on up.
For the record, Larry Allen, Humboldt County. Hunt 1331, we'd like to request for areas 031, 32, 34, 35, and 051 to run from, all of them from 10/5 to 11/5, one season from October 5th to November 5th. Is that correct? You guys are on 1331, right? 1235 as well was part of the motion that was at our meeting. So, okay. Thank you.
Anybody else? Any general public? I'll bring it back to the commission. Commissioner Rain.
I'm just trying to consolidate the different recommendations from the cabs, and it looks like a lot of them reflect right on through from 1235 to 1331, and I'm just trying to see, do those changes have any effect on the muzzleloader archery? I didn't see any, but any of those changes proposed by any of the cabs that we got, do they have any implications on muzzleloader or archery? As a question, because has anybody seen anything? Because that'll, you know, affect what we do with them, I think. Usually does.
No, I don't believe there's any conflict on the front end of those seasons as far as muzzleloader or archery. I think that where you run into problems is on the back end, extending it to the 10th, you'll bump into bull hunters in some areas where you have those hunts. I think that's where the potential for conflict.
Is that just a couple units, or which units do you think
Well,
would be the issues?
Clark County's recommendation that all the split hunts have that 5-day break and go to the 10th. Every one of those areas that has a bull hunt, we'd have to go through season by season to figure out which. But
So that's the biggest and really only conflict that you're seeing. 'Cause I couldn't see any with the muzzleloader archery, but there's a lot of numbers here. And so those conflict all with elk. What else would conflict with something? Humboldt County stuff, that doesn't seem to conflict, huh?
oh yeah, nothing on the front end.
And Lincoln's, I just don't see a conflict with anything conflicting there. And Corey, let me make sure that Corey's suggestion that I got the latest version, 'cause it's different from the printed version, and that was 3 seasons, 5th through the 16th, 17th through the 30th, and 31st through the 6th? Okay. I want to make sure I get my numbers right. And what,
Is that the 5th through the 16th or the 1st through the 16th?
Corey?
1st through the 16th.
Was it the 1st through the 16th or 5th through the 16th?
Yeah, it'd be the 5th.
Fifth, okay.
Sorry about that.
That's what I read, but trying to consolidate. So if we did that, and then the 31st, Pershing County's recommendation going through the 31st, that would carry through in both 1235 and 1331. And that does not appear to conflict. Is that, you seeing that, Tony?
Yeah, I believe that, I don't believe there's any conflicts with Lincoln County's recommendation. I believe they've taken other hunts into consideration with those dates.
That and then Pershing's as well, right? Pershing's 5th through the 31st in 041 and 042. I didn't see anything, but
Actually, it would conflict, Joe Krim, Persian Cab, because when you get to the 1331 hunt, they're proposing a split season on that 041, 042, and we'd voted not to split that side. So if you change the season from the 5th to the 31st, we'd like it to change on that one too and keep that season as one season, not a split. There's not that many tags on that side anyway, and any deer you kill on that side is a trophy, so it's not going to help any.
It's like what magnitude, if you throw us out the magnitude, 'cause I guess we got to talk about both hunts, right?
Yeah, I was going to suggest that that's probably the best way to deal with it, is that the comments made by the county advisory boards are consistent across both hunts. The majority of the hunts are the same. One exception, for example, the 041, 042, actually, I'm misspeaking. Yeah, those are consistent across both. Is that the one that doesn't have the? Yeah, it's recommended for an early-late split in the 1331, but it's only, and there is a single season on the 1235, and the justification behind that is there is an inadequate number of non-resident tags to be able to split tags between an early and a late in the 1235.
How many tags were we talking about there last year? Just so we all know, because
It's not very many. You'd have to ask mine.
it's not very many, a few dozen or
34 resident 1331 hunt.
And traditionally, we have had numbers in the past that below that number, we really didn't want to split them much.
Well, that's resident, so, take 10% of that, say it's, 3.4, and then try to divide that between an early and late hunt in the 1235.
But I mean, even some of the resident hunts, I know it's come up in the past that, well, we don't want to aggressively split this area because we only got given out a dozen tags or 20 tags. I'm trying to remember what that number was. Is it 30 tags or 40 tags, and then we'll start splitting them?
Somewhere in there, yeah.
So this is kind of in the middle of maybe or maybe not?
Yeah. I mean, there's no sword for us to fall on to go back to a single season.
So I was trying to remember what the rule was, or general standard 30 to 40-ish range.
That's what I believe. It was somewhere in there. We thought it probably not worthy of split.
That's just a tough unit, that 041 unit. So the sportsman needs as much opportunity as they can, and by shortening up that season, it's going to be tough on them.
Okay.
But if you put it back together, leave it whole, and go from the 5th to the 31st, at least it gives them a good opportunity. We had a cab member that hunted there last year, and they hunted the whole season to try to find a quality animal.
Well, I'm good, Mr. Chairman. I just wanted to clarify all those points. Thank you.
Okay, Commissioner Drew.
I'm hoping Commissioner Rain is working on a motion, because I think he's got a lot of this written down and consolidated. The only thing I would point out is on the 14-15 season. Again, I really have some heartburn with closing those October 31st dates on the Friday of a 3-day Nevada Day weekend. So that's just a tough pill to swallow for someone who lives in Washoe or Clark County and travels to these rural counties to hunt, to lose that 3-day weekend at the end of the season.
So which dates specifically is that? Which units?
So
That's
basically,
all of them?
yeah,
It's all
anything
of them?
that ends on the 31st, at least 2014.
You want to
look
be
at
maybe
November
02
2nd.
to the 2nd.
Yeah,
Okay.
just be November 2nd.
What happens on the late season?
I don't think we have to worry about the late seasons, because a lot of them end on the 5th. So we've got that weekend pulled in anyway.
So there's overlap?
No, everything that ends on the 31st, there's no late season in that area.
Right. So the ones that end on November 5th, the split seasons, I don't think we need to change anything there, because we already have that weekend pulled in. But the ones that end on the 31st, if we took them at least to the 2nd, we're pulling in the Sunday of Nevada Day week.
And then it coincides with what we just did with the youth, and we won't have youth in the field without,
Right.
we'll get some pushback on that if the junior can hunt and the adults can't.
I think we got it. You ready?
I'm ready if you're
All
ready.
right. I'd like to throw out we'll call it a draft motion.
Can I just ask for one point of clarification, perhaps from Lincoln County, that their late season, recommended late season, was from October 31st to November 6th, and I just wanted to make sure that they were aware that November 6th is the opening day of the bull hunt in there, and they're okay with that overlap, last day of deer season, first day of bull season.
I am, yeah. Yeah, we did vote on the 6th, so on that end date was solid. One day open.
And there is sufficient deer in that area, I believe, if I remember all my quotas, to accommodate that in the non-resident all 3 of those seasons, even expanding it There's still plenty, if I recall, correct?
I believe so, too.
Okay, so therefore, move to approve 1230, hunts 1235 and 1331 with following modifications. For the 1235, the hunt period being from October 5th through October 31st, and the same dates in 1331, eliminating the split season. October 5th through October 31st.
What unit?
As 041 to 042. Eliminate the split season in 1331 and just have the one season in 1235, same dates both seasons.
Are you okay.
All right? Exactly as Pershing County recommended for both. Also, in this, eliminate the two seasons in 221 and 223, early and late, in both 1235 and 1331, and replace them with, in both situations, with 3 new hunts. And the first hunt is the 5th of October through the 16th of October, the 17th of October through the 30th of October, and the third being the 31st of October through the 6th of November, being an early, mid, and late hunt. I'm missing something.
All the 1031s to November 2nd.
Yes, there we go. That's right at the top of the next page. Okay, in the both hunts, no, hold on. Just in the hunt 1331, does that occur in the other one? Do we have anything we have to worry about in 1235? Yeah, there's a few. Okay, in both 1235 and 1331, and we're talking only the 2014-2015 season, to have all hunts that end on October 31st, that October 31st be replaced by November 2nd. So
that would include the season you just amended, or the season you amended for 41, 42 as well?
Yes. There you go. Yes.
Just for clarity. Thank you.
Just for clarification, in the 2014-2015 season, but not in the 2013-2014 season.
Right.
So the main thing is Mike following all this?
And I'll second that because it made sense to me. So.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Anybody in the public have any comments on what's going on? Seeing none, I'll bring it back to the commission.
Mike, are you
there?
Mike and Tony, are you good?
We make this.
I'd like to make sure Mike's comfortable with where we're at.
Yeah, and I'll make sure that everything in the 1235 that's appropriate, which is everything, then we'll accommodate the 1331.
Since you haven't voted quite yet, I just want to ask one more point of clarification from Lincoln County. The recommendations that they submitted had the October 1st through the 20th. Our recommendations had October 5th through the 20th, and I want to make sure that that is accurate, that Corey does want that to start on the 5th, that it's an 11-day hunt.
I can't type. It's the 5th. Yeah. I'm sorry about the typo.
Okay, that's all right.
5th through the 16th, 17th through the 30th, 31st through the 6th.
Joe Krim, Persian Cab, just one question. On that 1331, did that take my 04-104 season back to one season and not split? Okay.
One season, not split.
Okay.
And in 2013 to 2014, it would be from 5th through the 31st, and in 2014 to 2015, it'd be from the 5th through November 2nd.
Right.
Single season.
Okay, so
Okay.
Everybody comfortable? Mike's comfortable where you're at? Everybody's comfortable? No more questions? I'll call for the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passed unanimous.